Hey guys, on this video I'm going to jump around a little bit. I don't normally make repair videos, so if you want something with more detail, you can look those up on other channels. This is for people that are mechanically inclined and feel comfortable working on things, and you just want to see where some bolts are and how this thing is generally put together. Okay, so today we are replacing the filter housing in a 2014 Jeep JK. And that is down underneath the intake manifold. You have to remove both halves of that to access it, so it is buried way down deep. You want to take the nuts off of these brackets right here and off of this side over there. This side still has the nuts. Pop that little tree out because that wire is attached, and that'll make that a lot easier for you. There's also a couple of those nuts on the other side as well. Remove some of these wire harnesses. And here's some vacuum hoses that if you pop off, that'll make life easier for you along the way. And on this side, those just pop out of those little brackets. You can take them off the ends here to give you more flexibility, because a lot of this stuff's going to be in the road as far as wiring when you're trying to take stuff apart, wiring and hoses. That little foam piece in the back comes out with those little trees. You can pop those out with a proper tool, or if you're handy with a screwdriver, that can work as well. And bolt locations are along the top there. And I also popped this vacuum line off on the driver's side, making that a little easier than those wiring harnesses. Okay, you see the bolts loosened along the top. There's one here in the back that was kind of tough to get to. I used a long extension and was able to get enough of a bite on that to work. Helps if you have a wobble extension. And you have bolts along the side of that as well. So kind of down the center and then along the left-hand side as you're looking at it. Now that the top manifold half is off, you can take this piece of foam and get it out of your road. Next, we get deeper in here, and these are the little bolts that you need to take the bottom half of the manifold off. A few of them are buried down in there. I use an 8mm socket to remove those. And there's some wiring and things that you can move out of your way to, again, make your access a little bit easier. That's where the bolts are. It's a good idea to stuff some rags in those holes because you can actually look inside the engine and see the valves at that point. And of course, some of those valves will be open, so you don't want to drop things inside of there. You can remove the wiring off of your coil packs, but that's not really necessary. It can help to, again, get some flexibility. The stuff that has to come off are the wiring for your fuel injectors. So 3 on each side. The driver's side's a lot easier to get to than the passenger side. You just pop that red clip up, and then you can just push that in as normal after that red clip's out of your way. And this is just one that's off, so you can see how that works. You pull that red clip up, and then you're able to push that in and access that and get to all of those. All right, so we're taking these bolts off, and then we'll be able to wiggle this thing out of the way. Now that intake manifold is off, and you can see the filter housing that we were replacing because it had a crack in it. There's a coolant line on the back. I put a pinch pliers on that to keep coolant from leaking in. There's a couple of plugs on a pair of sensors that you have to unhook. It'll make that a little bit easier to take apart. And to remove that, you need a external T8 Torx socket. So that's kind of not an odd piece, but something a lot of people might not have in their toolbox. So before you get into this, you might want to grab one of those. Okay, with all that out, you can see where that thing was leaking, and you have just all this oil in the valley. You want to clean up all those parts, put the new beside the old, make sure all your gaskets are there. And here we're replacing the gaskets on the manifold. Reinstall the manifold. Okay, note the rags keeping things from dropping down inside. This is the bottom portion. And we're replacing the gaskets there with the new orange gaskets. And you want to clean, again, all the mating surfaces off. So that's the bottom of the top of the manifold, put that baby in. One of the things I like about the Jeep, you can flip the hood clear out of your way. And now this thing is working, and you can just barely see into that valley, but it is no longer filling up with oil. So hopefully this thing will now hold together. So that's all there is for that. And hopefully this helps somebody just see the bolt locations and stuff. It's an expedited version of the video, I know, but hopefully that helps.